many wonderful memories and experiences, some of which I would like to keep away from my parents, and I know I can't be the only one. I also have stories that made it possible for me to be here speaking to you, stories of pain and tears, but I have those to thank as well. The old saying, the experiences that hurt you teach you the most lessons and make you stronger, might be a cliche, but remains truthful. Now, I am the self-acclaimed poster child for optimism, and believe me, it had to be earned. During the ages of 10 to 13, my family found out I was diagnosed with 2 medical conditions. The first one manifested as asthma at first, but after further tests, we found out that it was actually chronic sinusitis, which basically means I have a cold every single day. Just as we had begun understanding and controlling this condition, the second one came up. This one, it was harder to understand and diagnose. My left leg started swelling up out of nowhere and for no reason. I got really worried, so I decided to find out what could possibly be wrong with it, and I had my theory. We started seeing several doctors, doing many tests and scans, but they all came up with dead-end conclusions until the very last one. The last doctor confirmed the theory I already had, that the issue I had with my leg was actually lymphedema. With lymphedema, it is a swelling caused by an issue in your lymphatic system. Eventually, I started carrying around big bags of trial and error drugs because we had no concrete treatment for either of the conditions that I had. Unfortunately, just as we had begun understanding and controlling both conditions, I had to go to the boarding house for senior high school. My doctor recommended something called the pressure stockings or the pressure socks as a method of controlling the swelling. We looked everywhere we could in Ghana, but there was none that matched my skin tone. So imagine someone as dark as me walking around with a green, beige, or black pressure stocking on just one foot. For those of you who don't know, in the Ghanaian system, sweeping, weeding, and scrubbing are mandatory chores for every first year in the boarding house. I couldn't perform any of these. The sweeping and weeding all had factors that would affect my sinusitis. As part of one of the precautionary measures for using the pressure stockings, I couldn't let water get anywhere near my leg while the socks was on, which meant scrubbing was out of the question. My house mistresses and seniors were well aware of this because the doctor sent along with me a prescription and notices to inform them of my situation. I don't think they believed me, or I don't think that was enough because they still gave me a very hard time in school. There were times when my house mistresses would summon me in front of other teachers and they would embarrass me and tell lies or exaggerations about me. And every time I tried to defend myself, that only made things worse, and that aggravated their anger towards me. There were instances in the dormitories where they would make very offensive jokes and throw insults at my face based on my issue. There are times when I would go to bed crying, or I would call my parents crying because I was really sad and hurt by everything I was going through. There were other times when I would be walking down the street in school, and then my schoolmates would point at me and laugh, and I gained the nickname, the girl with the socks. I know that a lot of people have experienced worse than me, but these are the experiences that came my way. It may not have looked like a positive thing at first, but I gained a lot of growth from those experiences. All those adversities, all through all of them, I gained assets like high self-esteem, confidence, assertiveness, and more importantly, I gained compassion. I was raised by entrepreneurs, and I was taught to take risks and keep swimming, because if Dory and Marlin from Pixar's Finding Nemo could do it, then so can I. I realized around the age of 17 that not everyone sees hope in everything like I do. I joined the Student Representative Council in high school, and I tried to pioneer projects and create policies and start initiatives that would make the school better for those that were coming in after us. Not a lot of my colleagues supported any of my ideas. A lot of them came with several doubts, some of them saying we shouldn't bother, some of them saying it's not going to work. They all lost hope before we even began. So when I turned 19 last year, I decided to open up a subsidiary dedicated to making things happen in Ghana, with Ghana, and for Ghana. It has not been easy, and I salute all entrepreneurs before me. Some of you might think that while I was in high school, I was shy, quiet, or an introvert, but I was the exact opposite. I had learned to pick myself up, shake whatever I was going through off, and see that my situation is not as bad as it seems. I am here today because I know what adversities, even small ones, are like, and I am making it through. What I want to share with you are the 3 things I do to keep my optimism high and recover from the immediate shock of any adversity. The first strategy is having an outlet. My mother gave me the perfect analogy of boiling yam. So the lid of every cooking pot has a tiny hole on it through which the steam escapes. If that lid is covered or doesn't exist, all the steam is compressed into the pot, and sooner or later it would explode and create a huge mess. That is how we are as human beings. So having an outlet is partaking in any activity that takes your mind off the adversity and lets out all the frustration, aggression, sadness, and everything. And I mean any activity. It could be dancing, painting, singing, crying, praying, binging, you name it. If it's taking a shower that works for you, then please take an extra long one and flush out all those negative feelings. If it's eating ice cream and singing to Taylor Swift, then please eat up and sing it loud, because all those heightened negative feelings need to come out so you can properly change the narrative. For me, I tend to every part-time activity or every extracurricular activity I could partake in. I was in the cadet corps, I played basketball, I played field hockey, I was in the drama club, I even participated in moot court. Yes, sometimes I bounced the basketball a little too hard because I was angry, or I swung the hockey stick a little too aggressive because I was frustrated. But after each session, I felt so light because all the anger and sadness was gone. My mind was clear and it was free, and I could think straight. The outlet I would like to focus on is screaming. Another precautionary measure for controlling the lymphedema is that I constantly have to be in motion. With the pandemic and all, I attended school lectures virtually, which meant I was sitting down most of the time. Recently, I was overwhelmed by all the assignments and responsibilities I had that I missed an exam, and I failed to submit a grade-heavy assignment. I reached out to the school and explained, but the frustrations and deadlines were still getting to me. My leg was only getting bigger and bigger, and it was so uncomfortable. All of this made me very agitated, and I didn't know what to do. So I screamed, and it felt fantastic. It's not always we can be calm about the things that frustrate us. In the Bible, Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, had his scream moment. In Matthew 21, there's an account of him throwing people out of the temple and overturning tables. Dr. Peter Califura, an American psychiatrist, said that yelling triggers endorphins, which are your happy hormones, and they create a natural high which can calm you down. Not everyone can be as calm as Mahatma Gandhi in a time of frustration. Sometimes you need to release it out in a not so calm way. The next strategy I have, I'm sure you guys hear it a lot. I want to believe you hear it so much because it works for so many people. Talk things out. The reasons we do this are simple. They say a problem shared is a problem half solved. You don't have all the perspectives to any situation. You could have come up with loads of different perspectives, but there's always that extra one or extra 3 that you haven't quite figured out yet. The other reason is maybe you just need someone to reiterate what you already know or have already figured out. Sometimes we just need someone to tell us it's okay or it's all right for us to be fine. Honestly, in times like that, the last thing you should do is be alone with your thoughts and feelings. I could give you a lot of medical reasons why, but those are not why this works. We are wired as social creatures, and contact and communication is what keeps us alive and hopeful. Sharing my experiences, sharing my problems with friends and families that I trust has kept me alive and hopeful. When the insults and the laughter became too much, I had a few friends that I would always go to, and they would either comfort me, or they would make me laugh, or they would just listen, or they would reflect my emotions. So if I was angry, they'd be angry too. We all have that one friend that is always ready to beat up whoever's upsetting you, even if it's not an actual person. and that makes us feel better. Even with your ice cream and Taylor Swift sessions, the last thing you should do is be alone. Call somebody to share that with you, because 2 heads are better than 1, even if it's just to cry your eyes out. The last strategy I have that you might find helpful is to sleep on it. We all know that sleep has a lot of benefits and that is good for us, but we don't pay attention to all the benefits it has to offer. For some time now, I've been doing secondary research in health, fitness, and nutrition, and I found a lot of connectors to sleep. The most intriguing being, sleep gives you a superpower. It gives you the power to solve problems in your sleep. Everyone has this ability, but we don't pay enough attention to notice it, let alone use it. Scientists have found that the brain goes through 90-minute cycles of sleep, some of which are the non-rapid eye movement, where there's little to no sleep, there's little to no dreaming in this sleep state. This is the time your brain takes to review past occurrences and deliberate on dilemmas. Sometimes you wake up with ideas or plethoras of solutions and you wonder where they came from, especially if you went to bed with the adversity fresh on your mind. I know it's not easy to fall asleep when you have something that keeps you up. So, this is the best time for you to practice that night routine you've seen in the movies or have always wanted to try. Get home, or for some of us, just wait for nighttime. Take a nice shower with music and candles if you can. Throw on your best PJs. Drink tea or eat. Do whatever makes you happy. Crawl into bed. Turn off your phone, turn off your lights, turn off everything, and get some sleep. The new normal is full of uncertainties, triggers, and problems. It is hard for everyone to keep hope alive and to move on from the problem to even begin to see the way forward. But one thing is for sure, there's always some TED Talk or some article on the internet done by people just like you who are going through similar adversities and they are making it through. All you have to do is ask. There's one last high school experience I want to share with you. One of my seniors saw me singing and smiling, and she stopped me and asked why I was always so happy after everything they did to me. I smiled much bigger and I said, I am a happy child. It was in that moment that I realized there truly are ways to turn your adversities into assets. Thank you.